Well, we just did the video about installing our countertops.
And you guys had questions. Lots of questions.
Yep. Here we go. Yeah.
Wow. Hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth. Live simple.
Live free. And yeah, you had lots of questions about our countertop installation. And here's why. Normally when I do a video, I show you what I'm doing and I explain what I'm doing. But I didn't do this. I had installers come in and I did ask their permission to film them as they were carrying it in, which you saw they were lifting it up on here. But I didn't want to be right in their face with the camera with everything they were doing and asking a bunch of questions. So the only thing you saw was them lifting it up and then you saw the finished product. So sorry about that, and that's part of the reason that questions came up. So I wrote down questions that a lot of people asked. These are not in any kind of special order. First one was about the sink, how the sink was installed.
And by the way, I absolutely love it. It's so nice. Deep and...
So the sink is actually glued in from the underside with epoxy. He had epoxy glue of waterproof of some sort. I don't even know what it was. It was in like a caulk tube. And they put the counter in place, and then they opened this up and put the sink underneath and put a tube of that, or a line of that caulk all the way around, and then pressed it up to the underside. And I would have thought they'd cut, 2x4s under there to brace it up or something like that. He said, no, it's not necessary. He said, we used to do that, but with this glue, he just pressed it up and he held it in place for about 30 seconds and it stuck just like that. That was it. And he said not to do anything, to hook up the plumbing or anything for at least 24 hours to give it time to really set. I was concerned that this isn't going to hold. And he said that this is so strong that if you want to take the sink off, you have to use a multi-tool or something to get in here to cut the glue. He said one time they had two guys trying to get a sink out and they didn't cut that. Two great big beefy heavy guys, and they were pushing down on this to try to get it off. And it actually bent the sink before it came out from under there. So that was pretty amazing. So the water is probably not going to get up into here, and even if it does, there's waterproof, glue up inside of there. I was thinking I might take some clear silicone caulk and do just a little strip right there just to keep water out from under there. I don't know. He didn't talk like that was necessary, but I may do that anyway. And then the next one, a lot of people ask if we have to do anything special about maintenance or taking care of this. And it is, granite apparently is fairly porous.
Yeah.
So it is sealed from the factory.
Yes.
But the installers told us to make sure that we don't let anything sit on it that would stain it, like
beet juice, grape juice, wine,
coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
That if it spills on there, be sure to wipe it off and don't let it just sit there.
Yeah.
And then they said that we need to reseal it with something that you can just get at Lowe's. You just pour it on and spread it out and let it dry. Now they said that we need to reseal it about once every 5 years. I got a comment from one of you who said we need to reseal it every 6 months or it'll start staining. I don't know if you saw that comment.
Oh, no, I don't know if I saw that one.
So here's what I want to ask. I need your help. I know a lot of you said that you have granite and you love it. What have you found about it, whether it stains or not, how often you have to reseal it, and that sort of thing? We've never had granite before, so
yeah.
What do you think? Those of you who have experience, let us know.
Yeah, we're not going to let stuff just sit on it. We're not going to put hot things on it any more than I would on a regular countertop, the laminate. But yeah, the guy said about every 5 years, but we want to take good care of it. So.
Okay. We'll probably get 300 answers to that question. And that's fine. I want to hear your experience. So, next question. Curtains. What are you going to do with the curtains, dear one?
Well,
are you going to keep those?
When we find, when we can get all the upper cupboards in, which is going to be coming up here, and I can get my flooring in, and I think I know the color of paint I want to use. Thank you for all the good suggestions. You guys think very much like I do. When it's all done, I'll take a look at it, and if I still feel like that they're working, I'll keep them. If not, I'll find something that I feel like might be better. I'm not real worried about whether something looks modern or cottage-like or country or anything like that. I'll put together stuff that just looks good to me. But yeah, I'll just have to see if I still like them when everything's done. So.
And then we had a lot of people asking about the wall color and about whether we're going to put a backsplash on here. Well, it's already got a 4-inch backsplash.
Right.
But anyway, so what are you thinking about that?
I've got samples right there. Can you grab that for me? So we've been getting, of course, a lot of questions about, the color on the wall and thinking about doing. I know the yellow is no longer. This is it's a kind of a nice icy yellow, a little hint of green to it. But I know that's not going to really be what I want once we get everything done in here. So I'm going to start out just showing you. We have this, just shows you a piece of the countertop, and this is the flooring that we're going to be using, and it looks like kind of like it's just really plain, but actually it's got some really delicate gray and silver graining in it, and when you see a big piece of it, it's got a subtle but kind of a nice pattern. It's not going to be fighting with the countertop, but it's going to be kind of a silver gray. We're going to be doing that in the dining room, into the kitchen, into the new mudroom, I think in the bathroom too. So you have this, and then this is what I have in mind for the wall. If you remember, our living room, that green that I love in there, is called Livable Green. Well, the color of this cracks me up because it is called Nebulous White. So, yeah. But anyway, this is the one I was thinking about doing. It's not white. If you put it up against an actual white, you realize that it's a little bit different. But it's a very subtle silver gray, but very, very subtle. And I think that is going to look really, really nice in here. So I went ahead and got a little sample. You can do that at Lowe's. This was like $3.98 of what I want to try with the Nebulous White so we can test it before we buy all the paint. Once I've got my rest of my cabinets in, and we've got like kind of an idea of what it's going to be like, then I'll try this this bit of paint here. And of course, all of this, if you look then at our cabinets, they're a gentle off-white, and the distressed coloring in there is a kind of a gray, and it all goes together, I think, really nice. So.
A lot of people also asked about where the counter, it looked like it was cantilevered out over the dishwasher and there was nothing supporting it on the end. Well, that's because it wasn't finished yet.
Right.
So you can see right here the end piece that came with the under counter cabinets. It fits in there, supports this, and it looks very nice, very finished. And a lot of people ask if there was going to be a backsplash. Well, there already is, this 4-inch backsplash here. I think they were talking about tile up on the wall. We are not planning on putting tile there. We're just going to paint it. And also, regarding this gap here, where I said I was going to use quarter round, a lot of people said that if I put tile on there, that should cover the gap. That won't work. This is a full inch wide. You can see I can fit all the way up to my knuckle. That's how wide that is. And tile is usually only a 1/4 of an inch. So even if I put tile, it still wouldn't cover that gap. So we're just going to smooth this down and paint it, and I don't see any other thing I can do except a piece of quarter round. If I had known this in advance, I could have cut the sheetrock down under here and pulled the sheetrock out and shimmed behind it. But I didn't know this problem until after the countertops were already in place. And a lot of people wanted to know how this is attached, how the counter is attached down to the cabinet, and I was interested in that too, because I know with wood, once you laminate, you screw it up into it. So what do they do here? They just laid them all in place, and they're very heavy. They don't really move.
Well, this weighs about 800 pounds.
Yeah, they laid them all in place. They got them all in there. And then they just ran a bead of silicone caulk all the way around it up right up inside of here, and apparently that's enough to keep it from moving. So the whole thing's just glued down with silicone caulk.
I don't anticipate this would move very easily anyway.
Mm-mm.
So I was amazed those guys could lift what they did. Whew.
And there were some questions about where we got it. We got it from Lowe's, and the price was installed. So what they did was they sent somebody out who had a laser. He set it up right here in the center, and it took a laser measurement of the entire kitchen, which was really cool, and put it right into their computer. So they had the exact measurements. And then when they went home to their factory, they were able to make this counter, not just measuring it with a measuring tape, but actually using the laser and the computer to make it. So it wasn't quite 3D printing, but
Well, no.
so that's how that worked.
Oh, and then of course they.
And then after they measured it, they made them custom, and then they brought them out and they installed the cabinets, installed the 4-inch backsplash all the way around.
Installed the sink.
Installed the sink, yeah. So it was one of the easiest things I ever did. All I did was just went to Lowe's and wrote a check, and it was done. So.
And we were going to have to have specially made laminate countertops, because this kitchen is not only an odd size, but the walls are a little bit wonky. They're not completely plumb. They lean a little bit here and there. They're safe, but they're old and they're not perfectly built, which is okay. But when we found out what we'd have to do to get the laminate done properly, and then he told us about this particular granite. There's only this one pattern of granite that we could do this with. It turned out to be so reasonable. We couldn't believe it.
Getting the granite was only a couple $100 more than getting the laminate.
Right.
Because of the way they had to come out and custom make the laminate for us anyway.
Right. Yeah, it was. So it just didn't end up being as incredibly expensive as I would have imagined that it would be.
Yeah.
And like I said, the piece I picked out, which was really pretty, was nothing like what it really is, because they ran into this incredibly beautiful stretch of rock, and I was gobsmacked at how gorgeous this is. So.
Oh, and then some people asked about what we were going to do on the right side of the stove.
Yes.
Whether we were going to have another cabinet there. Well, let me show you what we're going to do here. This is pretty cool. So we also had several people asking about this space right here and suggesting that we put another cabinet there with another countertop, because it would be very nice to have a countertop on both sides of the stove. And I absolutely agree, except that we're excited about this because this is going to be our pantry. I'm going to build a floor-to-ceiling pantry. It'll be just like a regular closet with a regular solid door in it. Shelves all up in there. We'll be able to put all of our Thrive Life cans up there and have a lot of room for more stuff as well. Inside the door, then I'll put shelves for spice racks. And so we're excited about having a pantry right here. So I hope we've answered most of your questions.
Yes.
I tried to write down as many questions as people were asking. And we've now been living with this for about a week, and what do you think of it?
Oh, I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
I've learned that you don't take, pottery dishes and stuff like that and set them down without being really careful, because the sound makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Nothing is chipped, everything's fine, but I've learned to be kind of respectful of setting glass things down on it, because this is, it's rock. It's beautiful, smooth rock. No, I love it. We're going to have to be very diligent just to keep it really wiped down, because it just doesn't show hardly anything.
Right.
So it just stays looking really nice. And I love the sink. And instead of having to scrub around the edges on the sink to keep it really clean, it's underneath. And I just feel like it's going to be a pleasure to keep clean. So anyway,
Okay.
I like it.
So thanks for watching.
Live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
All right, we love you guys, and
We'll see you next time.
we'll show you everything else is coming up here. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.